What's up, guys? We're back after a pretty decently sized hiatus. I was just taking some time to enjoy the holidays with my family. You may ask yourself, I wonder what we're going to be doing today on this channel. Well, we're going to be at least removing the carburetor and maybe even rebuilding it today. I just realized I'm holding really close to my ugly face. So, yeah. Got the chainsaw right here. The old SkilSaw 1624. Standard duty. Type 1. It's got a Walbro carb in it. I don't remember I think it's a WA like 115A, something like that. I will say what it is in the description. And we're going to be doing a removal. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to put it back in. We're going to tune it, the whole shebang. It's going to be awesome. So let's first get it out of there. Hey guys, it's me from like a day in the future. Yeah, so this was a lot harder. I want to preface this by saying I'm not an expert. If you want to know how to do this perfectly the right way with the right tools, the right equipment, in a timely manner, go watch somebody else's video. This sounds terrible, but I'm not an expert. Do not take my advice. I mean, take it, but take it lightly. Not an expert. There's a guy who I watched, Tinker DIY or DIY Tinker, something like that. Great video, very informative. He really helped me out. Go ahead and look at his stuff. But if you want to watch me mess around and probably get mad and say something that's probably funny, stick around. So I'm gonna let one day past me keep talking. So you got the floor, buddy. But before we do that, let's talk about why I'm doing this. So most people, when they say a chainsaw isn't running right, a lot of people just go straight to the carb, say, oh, I just want to rebuild the carb. Well, that's really not true. That's really not true in every case. In some cases, you don't need to rebuild the carb. Sometimes you just need to go through it, go through the rest of the saw. Which way is the best way to see my face? I think it's this way. The sun's in my eyes. The best way, really, is just get in there, all right, clean it up, maybe replace the fuel line. That's what I did. Make sure there's gas in it, which is I didn't do. Just clean it up. See what you're working with first. Don't go straight to a carb rebuild. Now on to why I did it is because this chainsaw is easily 20 plus years old. I mean, this thing's probably as old as I am, and it's probably not been treated too well. We found it in the attic of an old pole shed at work. Well, it was a pole shed. Now it's a real shed. Anyways, not the point. And it's probably been sitting up there for at least 5 years, probably longer than that, probably 10, 15 years, And when things set, seals start to go bad. And it hasn't shown any real bad carb issues, but I just want to do it now rather than having to do it later. I'd rather do it now when I want to do it than later when I have to. So that being said, that's why I did it. You may end up needing to do it. You may not. So just keep that in mind that you don't always have to. So with that being said, let's get into it. First, we're going to take this cover off. This is your carb cover, your air filter cover. This is your choke switch, by the way. So first off, you got a screw here. Focus. Okay, we're going to remove that. Just like that. There's one. And there's another one right over here. So we're going to delete it. Just get that out of there. Let me just grab it. Pull. Oh, and there it goes. So there's those two screws. And this just pops right off. There's your carburetor. All right, there's some junk on there. There's your choke plate. And there's your fuel line. There's your adjustment screws there and there. And another adjustment screw there. So I don't really know how this comes out. We're gonna figure it out. All right, I just figured it out. Took a little trial, but there's these two screws right here. Now be careful. There's a washer there, a little brass washer, and a metal washer, a little thin metal washer right there. And then here's your choke plate. Now I was sitting here and I was trying to wiggle it loose. And it just didn't want to come out. Focus, please, thank you. And so I just gave it a little pressure because I couldn't see any other visible screws, and I didn't remember that it was bolted up like this. So with a little bit of pressure, it popped loose. Now, keep that in mind. You also have can you focus, please? Thank you. You also have your trigger spring, or your trigger thing right there. That connects back to, that's your trigger right there. So remember that. You're gonna have to reconnect that. And I hope I really got a good video where that was at, because I don't remember. Okay, looks like it was right there in the second hole. That's how I remember that, or that's how I think that. It's because, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of debris right there. Wow, I can really zoom well with this. I like this camera. This is on my iPhone like 11 or something. So we've got those out. I'm just going to pull the whole carb straight out. First, don't forget, you want to disconnect your fuel line. If you don't, it'll tear this line. We are going to replace this line after this carb is reinstalled, because this line's pretty gross, it's pretty crusty. But that's for later. This is now. So I'm just going to pop that loose like this. Well, wouldn't you know it, I was trying to do a really cool cutaway to get this out. But I think I could just pull it loose over here too. Dagnabbit, I actually don't know how this goes in there. Be right back. Well, looks like it just needs some persuasion to come out of there. There is some fuel in here, so be careful when doing that. But looks like there's just a little guy in there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can right there. There's just a little nipple in there. And that's what this hooks into. I guess it looks like I'm either going to reuse this, which I probably will for now, or I'm going to replace it, which I also want to do. And I have the fuel line for it, so I'll probably do that. So then this guy just kind of snakes on out of there. Like I said, be careful. There's fuel in there, so let's get it out. And just like that, your Walbro carb is out. Let's see if I can find that identification number. Right there. You see it? It says Walbro wa19a. And I found my rebuild kit on Amazon. Wasn't that hard to find. They make a bunch of rebuild kits. Wasn't that expensive. It was like $8. So that's how you get it out. Good deal. Hey guys, I'm eating a little lunch. Back in the apartment. We're going to do a little work tearing this apart. I've got to go back to class here in just a little bit. We're going to try and tear into it a little bit before I go back. I got some on my beard. It's water. Let's tear into it. I know next to nothing about carburetors, other than the basic principles of how they work. I've never pulled apart a carb, big or small. So, we're just going to do it. My camera stand's broken, so the filming's going to be kind of janky, just a warning. Well, let's get into it. And just like that, it's this little itty bitty screw. Put that right there. So now this should just kind of pop off, I think. Okay, I'm going to make it come off. And you may be asking yourself, did you use the correct size screwdriver? The answer is absolutely not. I actually used my knife. Okay, I'm going to just make this come out. First, I'm going to get out my Altoids. Just kidding. It's actually the rebuild kit. I put it in there because I didn't want any of my gaskets or anything getting mushed. And actually, I don't need these because mine doesn't have a primer bulb. But it doesn't need one on a thing that small. So let's do this piece by piece. Let's get this side out first. That may not be the right thing to do. Actually, let's do this side first. This side first. All right, just like that, it's out. I had to turn on my fan. But it's these little itty bitty screws that have got that little lock washer or whatever that is on there. So now we're gonna make this disappear. So that is one of your sides. I don't know, I believe so. That's where your fuel draws from, is right there. I believe it comes in through there, question mark. But that's out, so we're gonna work on this side now. I'm gonna make those screws disappear. All right, there's this little plate. Pardon the noise. So this is gonna go right there. All right, so you've got another little diaphragm. Oh, maybe it'll come off. You gotta be real gentle because I want to be able to see how this comes off. So give me a second. All right, it took a little bit of prying. Be very, very gentle with that. Okay, this is gonna go over here. Okay, now it looks like we've got a gasket. Two gaskets, actually. You got a thicker one that's got a diaphragm, or actually it looks like we got a rubber gasket and a diaphragm. So I'm not going to separate them, but it's two pieces. You got your diaphragm here, and you got your rubber gasket here, and that came out just like this. So rubber gasket on top. Set this right there. So that's our first look inside there. Pretty cool, huh? Well, if you're wondering how it's going, not well. This gasket just kind of decided it wanted to stay part of the carburetor. But lucky for us, I'm pretty stubborn too, so we're gonna get it off. But here's where patience and a little extra time will do you good. Just grab be very, very, because this is very soft metal. If you gouge it, you'll likely end up with a leak, and you don't want that. So we're gonna be very cautious. So I don't know if this is a problem. This just kind of peeled up, separate from the rubber gasket. But that's the inside. Don't ask me what any of that is, because I don't know. But I'm gonna try and get the actual gasket off. Okay, after a little bit of prying, ever so gentle, we got, I don't know what this is. So I'm gonna set this here, exactly as it came out. We got another gasket, and this is very important. Do not damage that. I really need to look what this stuff does. But very, very gentle. Okay, that's very delicate. I wasn't rough, but I was a little rougher than I put, because I've got a new one. But keep in mind, this stuff is very delicate. All of this is. So, very delicate. Let's see if I can pull this out. Switch hands. What time is it? It's probably time for me to get going, actually. Get out of there. Okay, give me a second. Alright, so I ended up using my multi-tool. Other than multi-tool to get it out. I figured that'd be more prudent. So that's what we're looking at. If it'll focus. It's a little screw. It's gonna go right. Dang, if my camera could focus. Okay. So now, holy cow, focus please. We got this plate that I don't know how it comes out. I don't know. But I think I'm gonna take this out next. Okay. Oh, it's not all the way out yet. See, it's a little round head bolt. That one's flatter, or conical, I should say. So, I'm gonna stick this in there and see what happens. Oh, yeah, those are magnetic. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, well, that looks better. I'm gonna come in with a proper blade and just, but I also cut off the hose because it was really getting in my way. It's getting really annoying. So I'm gonna take this plate off next. I think that's the right way to do it. I don't know, but I'm gonna use the wrong tool for it again. So let's get that out of there. Let's just delete that. All right, once again, with a little bit of prying, a little bit of delicate application of force, that gasket was removed. So now you can see all your little passages. I still don't know what this does, but I want to find out. But that's your thing. That's the other thing. Oh, this is your you can adjust the amount of fuel you're putting in there. Cool beans. What all does this rebuild kit come with? I know I've got a screen that I want to replace. This one. This screen, but I don't know exactly how a person is supposed to get into there. Once again, I have to say this, I'm no expert on these. You're learning as much as I am through this. In fact, I probably should have just bought the whole new carburetor, but sometimes dudes just be broke. Maybe I'm just supposed to delete that and just put one over the whole top. So that's what that looks like. But I don't know yet. I want to get this out. Give me 1 second. All right, we're gonna do something different. And we're gonna take this out first, if I can get it out. Give me a second. Okay, so I just hit it with some penetrating lubricant. And I gotta get to class, so I'll be back in a while, and we'll see how well this is done. Well, as it turns out, that doesn't want to come out, and I don't want to break anything, because I don't have a replacement for that. Sweet. Okay. Let's figure out how to get this out. All right, there's a little C-clip. I really don't know where it ran off to. There it is. It's a little itty bitty C-clip. Goes right there. So this should just push out. Ooh, there's a spring there. Okay. I'm gonna set this down and do this. So give me just 1 second. What's up, guys? We're back after class. Letter soaking PB blaster. I finally got that screw out. This is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like without that screw. So I'm gonna set this over here, I think. Up there. And then this should just kind of fall out, I think. Once again, do not consider me a role model. Oh, no, it doesn't. It just, never mind. Okay, first I've got to delete this rod, so we're going to do that. All right, and that is that little spring. Fit right into this groove right there. It popped out. I actually was able to pop this little brass piece off first. So there's your carb, pretty much empty except for, I still don't know how to get that screen out, and your adjustment screws, which I think, I don't know if I have replacement for that or not. But there's just a few more questions that little old me ow, that's sharp. That little old me has. So I'm going to do a little Googleification. I'll be right back. Okay, did a little research. This screen should just kind of come out. I thought it was this screen, but it's actually, I think, this little itty bitty guy. So we're just going to delete that. But I also am going to take these out because I think I've got the parts to replace that. So let's do that. Man, I really wish I had a camera stand. All right, let's get to it. So we're going to do, I really don't remember which one's which. It says on here somewhere which one's which. This one's low, this one's high. So we're going to take the high out first. Okay, so this is the low, or the high side one. It's a little dirty. Probably gonna carb choke clean it. We got this little guy, which I believe is your needle. Unless your needle's inside, I'm going to set this up here. Does anything come out when I do that? Nope. Okay, let's get this one out. There's your low side screw. Looks pretty identical, so we're going to keep the springs on them because this one's got your low side screw is slightly blue. So, or the spring is slightly blue. So I think we've got it just about down. I'm going to get this screen out though. So we're going to see how I do that. The guy, I watched another video. His name on YouTube is DIY Tinker. That is DIY TINKER. Pretty good video on this. I just skimmed through it, but probably ought to watch his before you watch mine, because mine's just kind of a crapshoot trying to figure out for myself. So let's get this screen out. I believe it should just, as soon as I stopped filming that guy came out. Let's hope I have a replacement for that. I think I do, somewhere. Hope I have the right spring though. That spring looks reusable. All this looks reusable. But if I've got it, I'm gonna replace it. So that was that piece right there. What is this? That is that guy right there. And don't you know, I've got a replacement for that. That's sweet. Look at that. Look how gunked up that is. And look at how blued it is. Come on, focus, Chet. See how dark and crusty that is? And I bet if I run my fingertip on it, there's going to be a little lip on it. Actually, you know what? That means it could have been just sitting on there and not going what it's supposed to do. So look how close that is. So I'm going to put a new one in. That came out of, focus, please, thank you. That came out of right there. So we can do that now. But first, let's get the low side screw out. So let's do that now. All right, so what I did, let me set this down. So I just took my little screwdriver and I pried up very, very gently. And I just picked it up until I could grab it with the pliers. So there we go. Let's hope I have a new screen. I do. I think that's it right there. So, I believe we're down to the bare bones. Because I don't know what that little brass piece is, and I don't have a new one of these. So, I think now it's just time to get down. So, there should be another one of these. Somewhere. Oh, maybe. Ooh. Maybe? Question mark? There's got to be another one of those in there. What is this? Hold on. Is there anyone trapped in there? Let's see if I can just shake something up. Well, okay. So that's disassembly. We got it all the way down, so I'm going to take a razor, scrape this off, and this crap in there as well. You can see that. And obviously I'm going to carb choke clean the crap out of it. We're going to slam it back together. Hopefully I can just prop up my phone somewhere. I'm going to try and find some place to do that. So that way I can just keep recording. So let's go clean this. The point of using carb choke cleaner is to completely miss every time you try to use it. That's not true. It's just hard to film in and do it at the same time. So I'm gonna set this down for a second. And I decided to do it outside because it's a beautiful day. And also so that way when I inevitably drop a part in the gravel, I can never find it again. That's pretty cool though. So another thing, big safety thing, never use brake clean, ether, carb choke cleaner, anything like that inside. Never. It's very toxic to breathe. Please don't do it. I've never done it. It's just not a good idea. So please take my advice. You don't have to listen to most of the other things I say. When I'm talking about safety, please take it seriously. Because, you know, if I'm talking about safety, you know that I mean it. That is so cool being able to look in there. That's awesome. Yeah, so let's get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to set it on like a little, oh, here, this is perfect. There's a rotten leaf in that. Never mind. We're just going to set it on the concrete. All right, we're back inside. Got it back on the little makeshift work table, and I'm going and just clean the crap out of it. Now, you can never use too much of this. You just want to make sure you get all the... Here's my neighbor who drives way too fast. That's the slowest he's ever driven. Thanks for making me a liar. See. Okay, so I got most of the way off. I'm kind of done messing with it because I'm really scared I'm going to mess it up. You can already see how much I've scraped on it. That's really not good. You don't want to do that. But I did it anyways. That's why I've got a nice new fat gasket that's really going to help me out. I really wish I had a replacement spring, which I think might be this spring, but it's also like a totally different looking spring. Like, look at the spring. Yeah, definitely a different spring. Okay, so I'm going to go carb choke clean this one more time. I'll be right back. All right, I got it done. Now my hand is freezing and also covered in carb choke cleaner. And it just feels very gross. Why did I do that? Don't do that. Please don't ever do that. Oh, I got a headache. Don't do that. It does not feel good. I'm going to try and find a razor blade so I can finish scraping off all that crap. But I'm going to let this kind of dry out outside before I bring it inside and stink up the place. So, yeah. There's cleaner carb. Again, it's got some dents and scrapes. I mean, it was on a chainsaw for years and years and years. Pretty cool. Oh, I just looked at my finger. Pretty cool. Let's see if I can make my eye go through. I don't know how to do that. Yeah. That's good enough. To tactically remove a blade from this, maybe, if I can remember how. One-handed too. Let's get a blade that looks like it doesn't have too much crap on it. All right, and we're gonna scrape this all off. Okay, so that's better. I still wish I could get the rest of that crap off, which I'm sure I could, but I'm ready for it to be back together. Disclaimer, whenever you take your adjustment screws out, I'm gonna put this earlier in the video too, try to make sure you remember where they're at. You know, that way you don't have to adjust as much. My carb needed tuned anyway, so I didn't really pay much attention. But yeah, let's start putting it back together. Well, I've realized a problem. See this? See how those are a really raised edge? See how much smaller those are? I can't get it to fit in this hole without it collapsing. So I'm gonna have to reuse this, which I really do not want to do. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna take it outside and I'm gonna carb choke clean the crap out of it. So, oh, my fan's on because I just brought this thing that was absolutely soaked in carb choke cleaner. Okay, I'm gonna take my gaskets, I'm gonna set them off to the side. Just that way I know what I have. And there's so many tiny, itty bitty, teeny tiny parts included in this kit. And if I miss even one, and I put this thing back together, I just about launched that thing. If I put this part back together wrong, catastrophic. I mean, just catastrophic. Once again, it's a weed eater carburetor, so I'm not gonna cry, or it's a chainsaw carburetor. I mean, this thing is probably new, or buying a new one's probably cheaper and easier, but I'm kind of lazy, or not lazy, I'm kind of broke. So I guess it'd be less expensive to buy the rebuild kit, but a lot harder to do. So we're gonna start with putting that screen in. We're gonna put that screen in. So I'm gonna cut to when it's in. Well, I was going to try and actually end up using that new filter, but I dropped it. And I can't find it. So we're just going to reuse the old filter, which just kind of... Okay, we're not doing this. I assume this is like a secondary filter or a... what it is, it's a metal screen. I'm just going to put that in there. Nice and gentle-like. I just messed it up. Okay, got it all cleaned up. Now see this one, I was getting it in and it would just kind of go in whopper jawed, which for you normal people means crooked like that. And yes, I know that was kind of a dramatization. Okay, that's not funny. Get out of there. Give me a sec. Which I believe was these guys. These guys. Your adjustmentalators. So there you go. Reuse the old one, but I cleaned the ever-loving crap out of it. I'm gonna have to fix that little edge that's poking, but for now, we're just gonna move on to the next part. Here we go. This is the low side, I believe. Going into the low side hole. And I'm not gonna put it in all the way. I'm gonna get it in good and snug. Good and snug. Just like that. Okay, we're one step closer. Next, I believe this actually fell out after I get done with this. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but oh, that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and do these next, which are on the others, are on this side. Okay, so we've got a new one of these, which I believe is your needle. Drops right in there. And let's see, where's that spring? Here's your spring. That kind of just sets, well, yeah, it's gonna go in there. And then I'm gonna cut to when this is all in. Well, I got it in there. It works. Maybe, but this gasket is junk. The one that I got, because the holes didn't line up, so I had to trim part of the gasket. But we're gonna hope it still works. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be mad. I'm probably gonna throw something. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're buying stuff offline. It may not be the right part, and that's just life, man. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna work right, but it's fine. I may need to cut some of this out right there, but this is a huge pain in the butt. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. Right there's your spring. I did end up using the new spring. I think it's the right spring. If it'll be the gonna work spring. There's that little needle. Here's a rod, screw, this little dish. That's in. I'm gonna mess with this gasket a little longer, and then we're gonna move on. Next up, we gotta get our throttle plate. Let's see, stuff I don't need goes in the don't need bin. Where's that? There's one more of those gaskets. Ah, there you are. Deleted. I may need that someday, but today is not that day. I've probably done this in all the wrong order, so yeah. I'm not the greatest example of things to do. So, let's start off with, came in on this side. Just gonna slide that in there. And I'm gonna cut to when this is, actually, wait. Yep. Oh, low power mode. Bro, we live life on the edge here. Go in, you silly goose. Does it have to be indexed a certain way? I do not know. Well, give me a sec. Okay, I ended up trimming a little bit right there. Woo, how far in can I? Oh, that's as far as I can zoom. Right there. So we're going to move on and hope that this gasket's right, because if not, I'm just going to end up buying a carb and I'm going to be mad about it. Next, we're going to move on to the high adjustment screw. It actually did not. I just had to be a man about it and jam it in. So remember, this spring's got to go up against this little edge, and make sure your clip hooks onto that. And now we're going to take a C-clamp, or a little clip, if I can pick it up with my obese fingers. And that's going to snap on right there. All right, that comes in here. We're just going to hand tighten it. So like I said, this will need tuned anyways, and it's just, but that's your high and low screws, both in. I'll tighten those more later. Move that knife out of the way, move that knife out of the way. Okay. And now we do my favorite game of remember what I did next. Okay, guys. After a long time of messing with this thing, I finally got it to work. What I did to get it to go in right, this we're gonna have to be patient, guys. This was a huge pain. I still don't even have it all the way tightened down. I don't think. I don't know. But this has got to be aligned correctly. So make sure you take pictures. Don't just go off of me. And I actually installed this plate here. Just kind of half put it in there. So that way this spring, I knew where the spring would need to be. So keep that in mind. Do it if you think it'll help. If you don't think it'll help, don't do it. I don't really care. I'm very tired of working on this by now. And I'm also realizing that this gasket's probably going to leak like a sieve. I might just end up reusing this gasket, because this gasket doesn't look that bad. So, I don't know, that's kind of a game time decision. So, yeah. We're going to move on. Let's see, what's next in my basket of parts. We're going to install this little plate, a little smooshy plate. This actually will help make sure that gasket doesn't leak ever. Yay. All right, let's move on to that. I'm going to set that in place, like so. And that is going to mush down on that with the force of the Lord. And I'm going to make sure that I don't get it in the hole, because God forbid I do something right at this point. And yeah, if you can tell by my frustrated noises I'm making and the comments I'm making, this is a very long process. Okay, we're going to cut when this is done. All right, and our clip is in. And then you're like, oh no, where's my throttle plate? Don't you worry, I got you covered. We're going to put that in there. It's probably going to be just as much of a pain as it was going in. So we're going to cut when this is in. Okay, so it's this gasket right here. This is going to go right on top. And unlike the other gasket, this one actually freaking fits. Sweet. Beep. Sorry. And then you're going to put, where's that old diaphragm at? And take your new diaphragm. Look, there's the old one, new one, and they kind of look different. That's fine though. That's going to just kind of set right there. Obviously, don't tuck that under there. Like that. I actually want to make sure of one thing real quick. Okay, you can see my hands are shaking a little bit. That's in and tight. There's probably a torque spec out there, but for right now, the torque spec for me is good and tight. So, if this doesn't run after I'm done, I'm going to be so angry. This is still so much fun to play with. I don't even remember what's next. I think one of my gaskets. But which one, you ask? Well, one of them there gaskets, that's what. Okay. I was right. So that gasket goes on like so, and then you just take the plate that was over it, which would be this plate that I did not clean, that I probably should have. Ew. Grimy. Yeah, I'm gonna go clean this. Okay. Let's see. They actually have two gaskets that are very similar, and I think perform about the same, so I'm just gonna choose the one I want. And this, make sure, see this little rotary telephone? Most of you won't know what that is. The rotary telephone look inside will go like that. Okay, you can use these little dowels to align it, and then you take your cover plate and you remember where this little hole goes, because I don't. I'm going to put that on. I'm actually going to make sure that hole is in the correct place, and we're just going to throw some screws in there. Okay, I had it on wrong. This little hole, I believe, goes over here. Okay, you have your fat gasket. And let's see, this is our old one, so we're matching up to this one. And I believe, is it this one? No, I need this big hole here. Oops. Oh. We may have a problem. Nope, never mind. This is the one I want, I think. Let's see. We want one that's got a hole there. All right, we got this one that is, well, okay, if I flip it. Okay, it's got a hole there and there. Just trust me, it's the right one. There we go. So this is the gasket that we need. And pick it up ever so delicately as I use my fat fingers to mess it up. Set it on the carb, and then we're ready to put some bolts in, or nuts or screws or whatever. And then this, the plate that goes on it has some locating dowels, which makes it a lot easier. So let's put this on there. And just like that, I have very much rounded those out, but it's okay because I don't plan on ever doing that again. I say to myself, as I know I will probably end up doing it again. This thing's so much fun. Even if I end up getting a new carb, I'm going to keep this just so I can play with it. I think all we have left is this last plate. So let's find that. I hate that I couldn't use that new screen. That makes me so angry. That's fine. I brake cleaned the crap out of those, so it's probably, or carb choke cleaned the crap out of it. Let's get the gasket. And it's on. All right, we've got our idle adjuster, which adjusts what we idle at. We've got our screws. Got this plate, got this plate. Got your fuel in. Got your little butterfly valve boy. And I believe that's it. Of course, didn't use all the gaskets, so I'm going to store those for later. These are the old gaskets. I'm probably going to hoard them because I'm really bad about that. Yeah. I'm going to hang on to this one for realsies, though, because I may end up just taking that new gasket out because I did not like it. Kind of a crappy gasket. Yeah. So, that being said, overall, this has been a hassle. I got to be honest. This started out very enjoyable, and it ended up being pretty frustrating, but at the same time, very rewarding. Even if this doesn't work, which I will be furious, I will also still be happy in knowing that I did this. You know, it's a little piece of metal that I took apart, put new gaskets in, brake clean, or carb clean the crap out of, and hoping that it works again. I feel like that's pretty cool. But I think a lot of things that are stupid are pretty cool. So, moral of the story is, do what you like, do what you love. If you just want to put a new part on there, do it. It's going to be easier. It might even be cheaper. Probably not, but it might be. You know, if you just want to get your chainsaw running again and you don't really care about the nitty gritty of it, do that. 100%. This is not worth it for you if you don't enjoy this kind of stuff. But if you're like me, where you enjoy mechanical stuff, you know, if you enjoy doing work with your hands, I would suggest this, but only if you watch a lot of other videos, because I was not prepared for this level of work and headaches. I have a physical headache right now. So, I'm trying to stay positive. I think I'm about to go eat some Mexican. I just want to let you know, I love you guys. Probably didn't watch this whole thing, and I don't blame you, because it's been a long one. Go find a different video to watch for a carb rebuild. This one's been a pain in the butt. But if you stuck around, thank you guys. Love you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, say what else you think I should do to that pile of crap chainsaw. I'm going to do a separate video for the reinstallation because this video is really long. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.